And that there's also like people that are elites, and that's their thing. Like their thing is to do something that is horrible, and it's not available to other people. So it's like, I think there's like a sickness that people have when they have power, like extreme power, and then what else can I do? What else can I do? What else is what else is taboo? What else is forbidden? Like all this Diddy shit that's coming out. Like,
I was just gonna say, doesn't that sound topical?
Jesus Christ! The first day of the trial, did you pay attention to any of that stuff? I looked at it for like 10 minutes this morning, and I was like, I gotta stop. I can't look at this.
Well, what freaks me out is the people sitting in the courtroom listening to it.
Right.
And there's a wide spectrum of people that are getting subjected to it, and you just sit there and go.
Yeah, well, not only that, how about the fact that this guy was running this for decades? He was doing this for decades to who knows how many fucking people, and everybody was scared to talk about it because he'd have them.
Day 18 of the Diddy trial has concluded, revealing exclusive audio recordings of Diddy now made public, along with disturbing details of his intimate activities. Joe Rogan has brought these revelations to light, suggesting that Diddy's actions are irredeemable. In addition, Diddy's legal team has filed for a mistrial, accusing Cassie of providing false testimony. Victim 3, known under the alias Jane, returned to the witness stand, where she reportedly broke down in tears while recounting what Diddy coerced her into doing during the so-called freak-offs. The situation continues to expose deeply troubling behavior. Diddy, along with other powerful individuals involved in his alleged illegal human trade, forced women into degrading acts. These individuals are driven by their obsession with control and domination. According to Cassie's testimony, Diddy would sit in a corner, orchestrating every detail, instructing male escorts on where to finish and how to proceed. If Cassie acted in any way that displeased him, he would quickly become violent, physically assaulting her. To Diddy, Cassie was not seen as a person, but as a tool for his manipulation and abuse.
Yeah, it's really wild, man. Evil is a real thing, you know? Nobody wants to believe, because if you believe in the devil, right? If you believe in Satan, you believe in something that's silly. Like most people a lot of people believe in God. If you ask people, do you believe in God? Yeah, well, I'm not religious, but I believe in God. Okay, well, do you believe in the devil? Most people will say no. But do you believe in evil acts? Well, yeah, well, people certainly do evil things. Well, where do you think that comes from? If evil is real, what is it about us that makes us want to deny the possibility that there's some nefarious force that is in human beings, that influences human beings? It's not as simple as like some people are bad, some people are good. No, maybe evil is a real element that you have to fight in life. And that maybe this is just something that's been documented all throughout history, but our arrogance and our secular society wants to keep us from recognizing that as an actual factor.
Victim 3, who previously dated Diddy and is referred to as Jane, became emotional while testifying about the degrading acts Diddy compelled her to perform. Allegedly, Diddy insisted on watching multiple men engage with Jane simultaneously, forcing her to consume multiple doses of substances each night to keep her conscious throughout the encounters.
The third alleged victim, who goes by the pseudonym Jane, was back on the witness stand for her first full day of testimony. The prosecutor played an audio recording for the jury of a hotel night with a male prostitute Jane identified as Dawn. On the recording, Jane and Dawn are looking for a condom, but Combs didn't allow it and can be heard saying, quote, "You're taking that expletive." Now, Jane testified, quote, "I just didn't want to disappoint my lover. He would be unhappy and wouldn't be satisfied with me." Jane went on to tearfully tell the jury about her birthday in 2023 when she said she was made to have sex with 3 different men in addition to Combs. The prosecutor asked why. Jane responded, "I don't know. It had become so routine," and added that she turned robotic. Jane told the jury that after a while, Combs didn't have to directly ask her for these hotel nights. She testified, "I knew it was to be expected." Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. If convicted, he faces the possibility of life in prison.
A particularly disturbing aspect of this case is that Diddy's accomplices have yet to emerge from hiding. It's evident that Diddy wasn't operating alone, as flight logs indicate he was transporting women internationally. However, the identities of those receiving these women remain unknown. Many are now comparing Diddy to Jeffrey Epstein, though unlike Epstein, Diddy is said to have recordings of the events. This may explain why witnesses continue to disappear.
You know, I've had conversations with people about it, and it's like, Jesus, like just trying to get the documents, like when they're trying to get the Epstein files, like the state of New York, one of the district attorneys was hiding documents. They'd have forced them to give documents. I think there's so many powerful people that are on those lists. There's so many powerful people that went and partied. Air quotes, partied. And how many of them went to the Diddy parties? Have you been paying attention to the trial?
Oh, yeah.
Trials. Wild.
Why don't they air it the same way they aired the coverage that,
Johnny
Johnny Depp got?
I know. Why don't they? I don't know. They should. The ratings would be amazing.
Unreal.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Why wouldn't you air that?
What's going to happen, though, you think?
Well, Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get
Think he's insane, though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another Epstein.
It's
Elaine Maxwell, where
there's
someone indicted and nobody else indicted for taking kids to
to no one. Right. We're like, what is the next crazy thing that's going to explode in the news? Is Bill Clinton's going to have an OnlyFans? Like, what is going to happen? What is the next thing that's going to make us all go, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's coming.
How many guys were on video saying, ain't no party like a Diddy party? How many people like openly talked about being there?
LeBron?
Yeah, how about Ashton Kutcher? All these people. Like, you guys all went. You didn't see nothing? You didn't see nothing?
Yeah.
Donnell
went? Yeah. Did he? Of course he did.
Donnell trying to defend himself.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Is he trying to defend himself right now?
It's pretty funny.
I got to call him up. Donnell, you got to back away from that.
Isn't there a video with Kamala?
She was at one of the Diddy parties?
Isn't she in the background with...
It might have been the difference between Diddy parties and freak-offs. Oh, my God.
They're giving him shit, too, because he's sitting in his...
the guy from Chappelle's Show?
Yeah.
And then Dave's there, too. And then Russell Simmons, too. Oh, boy. But is that at a party, or is that just a group of them together?
They were, like, on a yacht or something like that.
Okay, but that's not the Diddy party.
No, yeah. It's not like they were at
I think.
In a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Joe outlined Diddy's entire operation. According to him, many of Hollywood's most prominent figures attended these parties to create a false sense of safety for younger artists. Upon arrival, guests were allegedly given drug-laced drinks and pressured into compromising situations that could later be used against them.
You think Diddy was rogue, or Diddy was like a Epstein type, working for somebody?
That's a good question. Well, it would be a great way to compromise celebrities. Yeah. And get them to say whatever you want them to do, get them to do whatever projects you'd like them to do. And, if you're a bunch of other celebrities are there, you're like, oh, look, Bill Clinton's here. This is fine.
Yeah.
This is cool. Look at this. Like, Brad Pitt's here. Oh, this is cool. You don't even think there's anything wrong with being there. Meanwhile, you're getting drugged up and filmed. And then they're passing out punch. Have some punch, Aaron. And you have some punch, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm feeling really good. I just feel amazing. You're all mocked up. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Probably a combination of things they give you.
And it's all being filmed.
Crazy. Now, if that's not an intelligence agency operation, it's just one evil super genius who figures out how to compromise everybody by providing this crazy freak off party. Everybody's got to put their phones away. Okay, we're going to put our phone away. No one's going to know anything. Yeah, I mean, he's going to get cameras everywhere. It's just one guy doing that. What a diabolical human being.
Yeah.
He seems pretty diabolical.
He's probably working with somebody or for somebody.
Maybe.
And maybe he just got too far out there.
Some of the shit that came out in the trial, though, like he's forcing his girlfriend to have sex with prostitutes while he was sitting there jerking off with a bandana on. She'd rub the in his nips. Like, what are we even talking about? There's so many horrific accusations, though, involving young singers, like children.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's insane.
He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah, hanging out with Obama.
Jay-Z,
Everybody.
I'm sure the Clintons were there at some point.
Maybe Bill.
I'm not sure what implied threats Jaguar Wright believes she directed toward 50 Cent or what kind of information she thinks she has on him, but targeting him is a serious miscalculation. One of the biggest mistakes you can make is promoting conspiracy theories about 50 Cent. To be honest, many wealthy and well-known individuals in the industry are either rumored or believed to be part of some secretive circles. I'm not dismissing that possibility across the board. However, 50 Cent has always stood apart. He's consistently gone against the figures widely believed to be involved in those inner circles. He doesn't fit that mold. He's more of an outsider, someone who doesn't align with those groups. In my view, 50 is not involved in anything questionable.so. If you're suggesting that 50 Cent and Soulja Boy have participated in some unusual or inappropriate activities together, and you're hinting at exposing that, then you'd better be absolutely sure. You need solid facts, because what we've seen over the past few years with many internet conspiracy theorists is that they tend to rely on the assumption that the people they're accusing are too powerful or too busy to respond. These conspiracy theorists count on the fact that high-profile individuals won't waste time on them. They're thinking, why would someone worth $100 million bother with me? I'm not even worth 50 cents, no pun intended. And based on that logic, they assume these celebrities won't want to spend millions in legal fees to go after someone. They can't financially recover anything from that kind of thinking. Lets certain individuals say what they want without consequences. Now, I'm not saying Jaguar Wright has lied about everything. Clearly, she's been right about Diddy in the past. But when it comes to 50 Cent, he's a different story. He's known to be extremely petty. He wouldn't hesitate to spend $1 million just to make your life difficult if you cross him. So if you're going to speak on him, make sure you've got the truth on your side. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Is Jaguar right onto something here? Is she right this time? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and tap the bell so you never miss a new video. And tell us what you think in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
I mean, everybody hung with Diddy. That's the other tricky thing. Like, Diddy hung out with everybody. And I've spoken to a bunch of people who are like, yo, great dude, like always there for you, never asked for a single thing.
Till 1 a.m.
And then
freak off. Everybody says, get out of the house.
Yeah.
It's like the gremlins start eating after midnight. Everybody who tells the stories like, I saw I go upstairs and these dudes are fucking like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are fucking. And it's like,
and pros. Like, apparently he was getting male gigolos to fuck girls.
Girls.
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, like the
Male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional dicks to have sex with the girls, and I think he would watch, allegedly. That's what was alleged, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on, and that's the other thing. Like, I wonder, like, is that just a power thing?
It's a Caligula thing.
What does that mean?
Caligula, like the emperor. Did you ever see that movie, Caligula?
No.
It's about just Roman empires being completely out of control. Caligula is like almost like porn, and it was a movie made, I want to say, in the 70s. It's a crazy movie, but it's just detailing extreme excess where you can never fill the hole.
But what is the hole you need to fill? Like, I'm trying to find, like, what's the
just
catalyst?
chaos. What year was this? 79. Yeah. That's Malcolm McDowell, right? Yeah. Yeah, the dude from Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yeah.
It's a crazy movie, man.
But
and it's still mild in comparison to what Absolute have. Absolute power corrupts. Caligula.
Okay, so then there's the question. It's like, can you take a completely normal person, give them power, and then they become that? Or does it take a power-hungry person that has this void that needs to be filled, and then when they are given that power, you see the worst version of them?
Ask your CIA boy. I bet he's got the answers. I bet he knows the exact form.
One of the witnesses, currently under federal protection, had her true identity exposed despite a court order intended to ensure her safety. This situation has now escalated beyond the actions of a music executive. It's revealing the deeper, corruption within Hollywood, and that corruption appears to be retaliating. There seems to be a coordinated effort behind the scenes, with someone sending a clear message to the witnesses about who holds the power.
By the way, interesting update from court. Sean Combs' counsel, Alexandra Shapiro, says some people on the internet think they figured out who Mia is. We got this video, again, that might be used to impeach her credibility. We got this video also from random people on the internet. We don't think this was ever posted on her social media. It was on some random website. Should we show it to you? I got to ask you, I have to move on to this question, Serena. This is quite alarming. How is this possible?
I have no idea how it's possible, and I'm sure Mia is probably panicking in this moment in time. Like, are people stalking her on the internet, trying to figure out her identity? She testified that she was a victim, essentially. There's rape shield laws that exist to try to protect people in her position. And so this is really getting very nerve-wracking probably for her, and just absurd for the courtroom.
If someone revealed her identity, is that a crime, Tyler?
No, it's not a crime if somebody revealed her identity, especially if they're not a part of this case. The reason they have these confidentiality orders and protective orders is for the parties involved to do their best to protect a Jane Doe or anybody proceeding under a pseudonym's identity. It is possible for the public to learn their identity, but it's really the people who are part of the case who are agreeing to protect her confidentiality. Once she got on that stand, it's very possible that somebody knew her identity. What I find more troubling and less likely is if this video is being sent by random people on the internet, and that's what they want to proffer as evidence in this criminal trial, I find that hard to be admitted. If they could track the video from one person who could confirm the identity of the person, and then it could be used for impeachment evidence, that's different. But random people on the internet sending videos, that opens the door to a can of worms.
As the investigation continues, the situation becomes even more complex. Some speculate that Homeland Security was involved instead of the FBI because certain names were deemed too sensitive to be exposed. Photographs exist of 3 U.S. presidents attending Diddy's parties along with members of the British royal family. This raises the question of whether releasing the tapes could potentially compromise national security.
I don't know. There's a lot going on. A lot of rumors are flying.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors. Yeah, I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
The thing is, like, we're getting the rumors from the internet, and
Right.
the internet thinks that the Taliban took out that bridge in Baltimore. So it's like, who fucking knows? Who knows what's real?
That's what Diddy's lawyers, I think, said. It was like that these are just trumped up charges. Not trumped up, I don't think they said that, but like bullshit charges.
Dude, when Homeland Security invades your house,
You got problems.
with dudes with fucking guns and body armor. There's
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff; they were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there, you know.
Oh,
Like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's fun. Of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these fucking conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
It's fun to talk about.
It is fun to talk about. It's hard to know what's true. But
Yeah. Who
why
knows?
people genuinely love it when someone like Diddy gets caught, though. The glee that people have is weird.
Why?
Because he's too successful. Also, that's like, there was always so much East Coast, West Coast shit that's still like in the zeitgeist, you know, like with Biggie and Tupac, and they were all hating at each other, and they both got killed, and there was a lot going on. And then there's people that thought that Puffy was involved and Suge Knight was involved.
The allegations implicate dozens of unidentified witnesses and alleged co-conspirators around the world. And some of the key witnesses to the supposed incidents are dead. Basically meaning, how can we defend against it? The defense is not even permitted to share the identities of the individuals described in the disclosure letter with Mr. Combs until April 18th, further hampering defense counsel's ability to investigate. Collectively, these new allegations require many months, if not years, to investigate, and if admitted, would require a series of mini-trials, certain to double the length of a trial the government originally said would last 3 weeks. So this is an explosive allegation that on its face, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with. If they are bringing in evidence of uncharged conduct, wouldn't the defense have an opportunity to investigate it and challenge it? It seems like they're making a point. So if this evidence is allowed in, there is a chance this could delay the trial significantly. We all know Combs wants to go to trial, but how can he properly defend himself against this in just a few weeks?
Diddy's victims often felt trapped with no safe way to escape. He maintained control over every part of their lives, even issuing threats against their families. One of the witnesses testifying under the alias Mia stated that Diddy manipulated her into believing that if she ever reported him to law enforcement, he would take her life.
Here in New York, we are in week 4 of Sean Diddy Combs' criminal trial. The music mogul has pleaded not guilty to federal charges against him. Prosecutors continue to call witnesses who say they were victims of Combs' alleged abuse. Jerika Duncan has the latest, and we warned you that some of the details may be disturbing.
A former personal assistant for Sean Diddy Combs returned to the stand Monday after accusing the rap mogul of physical abuse and sexual assault. Testifying under the pseudonym Mia to protect her privacy, she alleges that Combs groped and raped her. She told the jury she didn't speak up because she, quote, would have been silenced and would have lost everything. On cross-examination, defense attorney Brian Steele tried to undermine Mia's account, insinuating she lied about the abuse and was after Combs' money.
This is the type of questioning you do in a he said, she said type of situation where there is no corroboration. This was the perfect opportunity for the defense to get aggressive, to point out those inconsistencies.
Steele showed jurors dozens of examples of Mia sending friendly, supportive texts to Combs for years after her employment with him had ended. Steele also emphasized that before the trial, Mia didn't mention sexual assault allegations until after Cassie Ventura's lawsuit. On the stand, Mia told the jury, "I have never lied in this courtroom. Everything I've said is true." She testified that she didn't come forward sooner about alleged abuse because she was, quote, terrified and brainwashed after working for Combs.
It only takes one juror to throw a wrench in the prosecution's plan and not get a conviction. If even one juror gets back there in that deliberation room and causes some reasonable doubt, that could be the defense's case.
Brianna Bongolin, a friend of Cassie, testified that Sean Diddy Combs once dangled her from the balcony of a 17th floor apartment and threw a knife at Cassie. Brianna recounted seeing Cassie with visible injuries on multiple occasions, but felt powerless to intervene due to fear of Diddy. He had persuaded those around him that his political TIs provided him with protection and that reporting his actions would only lead to more harm for Cassie.
An alleged sex trafficking victim is expected to testify here today that Sean Combs used lies, drugs, and threats to force her into freak-offs after the jury hears more from a different woman who claims Combs hoisted her over that balcony. This morning, a critical witness for the prosecution, a woman testifying under the pseudonym Jane, who prosecutors say began a secret relationship with Sean Combs in 2020 and spent years in hotel rooms for forced sex. Jane's testimony will follow the cross-examination of Brianna Bongolin, known as Bono, who described years of drug use with her friend Cassie Ventura. Cassie, all the way right! And she testified Ventura FaceTimed her before the premiere of her movie The Perfect Match.
I want to try something new.
What did you see? Prosecutors asked. Her black eye, Bongolin said. I was a little quiet, and I remember saying, I'm sorry. Bongolin testified Combs once hoisted her over this balcony after barging into Ventura's apartment on the 17th floor. For a split second, I was thinking about if I was going to fall. She said Combs kept yelling at her, "You know what the expletive you did," before throwing her onto this furniture, leaving bruises. Combs denied it happened, and the defense challenged her account.
We have some video of her as well. And so she has been testifying about a particular incident in which Sean Combs dangled her over a balcony. We have some full screens we can put up for you in which we're telling you a little bit about who Brianna is. Now, she goes by the name Banna. She's a friend of Cassie Ventura, who sued Combs in 2024 for allegedly groping her and dangling her over a balcony. She testified about this incident. So Cassie Ventura testified about this particular incident, testifying under an immunity order granted by the judge. So yes, Brianna is under immunity here, immunity order. She got on the stand earlier and she invoked the fifth. So the big thing, the big takeaway from her testimony is about being dangled over the balcony. Defense counsel has really been trying to tear her testimony apart, attacking her credibility as well as inconsistent statements they're saying that she has made as to where exactly this dangling incident took place, saying that Cassie Ventura said it happened in a hotel, but you're up here on the stand saying it happened in an apartment, basically indicating that her and Cassie are colluding together just in order to get money from Combs, because Brianna has filed a $10 million civil suit against Sean Combs.
To date, Diddy's chief of staff is the only other individual directly implicated in the trial. She has been described as the Ghislaine Maxwell figure to Sean Combs' Jeffrey Epstein. The chief of staff, Christian Quorum, reportedly possessed phone evidence showing that Diddy had paid bribes to eliminate incriminating material. It's also important to note that Diddy had associations with New York Mayor Eric Adams and connections to federal officials, which allegedly helped him avoid arrest for an extended period.
Diddy's former chief of staff, Christina Quorum, had evidence found in her phone that was seized. Today, we heard the testimony from Eddie Garcia, who was a security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel. And he said that Christina Quorum and Diddy reached out to him multiple times to try to get possession of that video of Diddy and Cassie Ventura, which he later claimed that him and his manager made this video disappear for Diddy and they were paid $100,000. After his bombshell testimony, the government said, "I'm going to enter a stipulation into evidence." During a search at the Miami airport, law enforcement seized 2 cell phones from Christina Quorum. And they are talking about when they rolled up on Diddy trying to get on his private jet when they were raiding the house in Miami and in LA. And after re-looking at all of those photos, I was able to confirm Christina Quorum was with Diddy this day, and this is when they took both of her cell phones from her. Weirdly enough, this is the very last time that we would publicly see Christina Quorum with Diddy, and before she would go ghost, deleting all of her social media accounts, even her LinkedIn. Now, the government is saying that there was evidence in one of these cell phones. There was 24 contacts, including one for Eddie My Angel. Eddie Garcia, the security guard, just had testified that Diddy kept calling him Eddie My Angel after he got the video for Diddy. And they were also able to confirm that it was Eddie's cell phone number that was attached to this name in this phone. And if you remember, in his testimony, he said Christina Quorum even called his personal number to try to get him to get this video. And there was another contact that said Eddie My Angel, friend, Intercontinental. There was also a photo of the IDs on Christina Quorum's device. In Eddie's testimony, he said that Diddy made them hand over their IDs before they signed the NDAs and got the $100,000.
Eddie Garcia, the security supervisor at the hotel where the incident involving Diddy and Cassie took place, testified that both Diddy and Christian Quorum pressured him into signing a non-disclosure agreement related to the assault. Diddy and his team were eager to erase the video footage of him assaulting Cassie, offering $100,000 to be split among the hotel security staff in exchange for the video's destruction and Garcia's silence. Garcia confirmed that the agreement required him to stay quiet and eliminate any evidence.
Today, the jurors in his trial heard from a former security supervisor at that hotel. His name is Eddie Garcia, and he testified that not long after the attack happened, Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Quorum, called him to ask for the footage. He said that he told her no on the phone, and again when she showed up in the lobby, said he told her no again. But that night, Garcia testified, Christina Quorum called him again, and this time she handed the phone to Diddy. Garcia told the jury in Combs' federal trial that Puff said if that video ever got out, it would ruin his career. He testified that Diddy promised to, quote, take care of him if he could only find a way to get that video. And so, Eddie Garcia, who was promised immunity to tell the truth in court, reached out to his boss, who agreed to sell the video for $50,000. And the following day, Garcia brought a USB drive with that video to a meeting he said included Diddy, that chief of staff, Christina Quorum, and one of Diddy's bodyguards. But before handing over that little USB stick, Garcia said he told Diddy he was worried. He was concerned he might be implicated in a crime if Cassie Ventura ever called the police and complained. At which point, according to Garcia, Diddy had a plan. FaceTimed Cassie and ordered her to, quote, "Tell him you wanted this too, Cassie." A freshly beaten up Cassie was there on the FaceTime wearing a hoodie and complied with Diddy's demand, Eddie testified. He then said he signed a contract swearing that no other copy of the video existed and swearing him to silence with $1 million penalty if he ever spoke of what he saw or of what he did, i.e. the payoff. In return, Garcia says he was handed a bag containing $100,000, double the amount that Garcia's boss had asked for.
There's a possibility that the entire trial could be dismissed. Diddy's legal team has submitted a motion for a mistrial, and if it's approved, Diddy could be cleared. The defense argues that federal prosecutors introduced evidence that was either clearly false or significantly inaccurate, particularly regarding the claim that Diddy allegedly dangled Brianna Bongolan.
This just happened on a Saturday. Diddy's attorneys have filed for another mistrial. They are claiming, these are their claims, that the government knew that Cassie was lying in her testimony. And I'm gonna go over all of this in an episode that should be up tomorrow because we're cross-referencing Cassie's testimony, Bonna's testimony, but what they're mainly arguing, in essence, is that Cassie testified on the stand that she saw Sean Combs, Diddy, dangling her friend Bonna off of a 17th floor balcony. And the defense is saying in their motion, well, that can't be true because the government has text messages between Cassie and Christina Coram where Cassie texts her, "Hey, I just found out some crazy shit." Okay, I'm gonna read you the full text verbatim, but it says, "Hey, I just found out some crazy shit. He came into my house while my friends were here and we were all sleeping and they woke me up because he was ringing the bell crazy at 3 a.m. And when he came in, I went to my room and he went at Bonna, choked her, and then dangled her feet off the balcony. This is crazy, ... I have to stay away." So the defense is arguing that the prosecutors knew that Cassie did not see Diddy dangling Bonna off the balcony, and yet they proceeded to ask her multiple questions about what she saw that night. They put in their motion for a mistrial. This is their last sentence, quote, "Accordingly, the court should grant a mistrial based on prosecutorial misconduct."
As victims continue to share their stories, witnesses keep disappearing, while influential individuals remain shielded. The central question now isn't only whether Diddy will be held accountable, but how many others may also face consequences. Will justice prevail, or will those in power manage to conceal the truth once more? Share your thoughts in the comments. Is this the end for Diddy, or will his influence rescue him again? Stay tuned, because this case is far from resolved. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the latest updates on one of Hollywood's most serious scandals.